Looking for these better days.
It is Thursday, January 29th. I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's what you need to know to make today a better day. Wembanyama and the Spurs get the best of the Rockets late last night, and Giannis ready to find a new home. Mackenzie Rivers joins me on this episode of Better Day, presented by FanDuel. Mac, we had the Rockets last night, -2.5 against the Spurs, and it looked great for about three quarters. And then the Rockets decided to not play basketball in the fourth quarter. Like 13 points scored in the fourth quarter for the Houston Rockets last night as they blew a double-digit halftime lead and lost 111-99. What happened in that fourth quarter?
Victor Wembanyama happened. It was ridiculous. The Rockets did not score for the first 4.5 minutes. And yeah, the Stephen Castle, De'Aaron Fox were playing great. But when it got to crunch time, Wembanyama had 5 blocks, and he had every defensive rebound in that stretch. It went from a Rockets 10-point lead to a Rockets 9-point deficit in about 8 minutes, and there was one player making the difference. He's been a top 7-ish player in my eyes. There was one player of note in that game. It wasn't Kevin Durant. It wasn't Sengun. It wasn't anybody else on the Spurs. Wembanyama has made that leap. He only played 29 minutes in this game. Once he's ramped up and he's playing 40 minutes in a playoff game, I'm not sure there's many players outside of Jokic and SGA that will be more impactful.
So the question is he going to play enough games to qualify for postseason awards? What is your take on that?
Regular season awards, right? Yeah, I don't think he will. Let's see how many games. He's only played 33 games. 30. Yeah, this is his 33rd game. So they have 35 games left. He'd have to play like every single game. I don't think that's in their priority. I think they actually are taking their sights on what they can do this season, meaning they might want to give him some games off.
So if he doesn't play in 65 games, he can't win any awards. Like, forget about the MVP, which honestly, he's not even listed right now up on FanDuel to be the MVP, right?
Yeah.
But he's the second favorite behind Chet Holmgren to win the Defensive Player of the Year. If he doesn't play 65 games, like, you're just throwing away your money there.
So they have 35 games left. He needs to play 32 of them. It is possible. And if he gets over the 65 threshold, he is clearly maybe twice as impactful as any other defensive player in the league.
Yeah, just an unbelievable performance last night. I mean, it sucked for our bet, but
it sure did.
Just masterful. I mean, he's unbelievable. Like, he's as good as advertised. It's crazy. I had my doubts about him because of his size and how skinny he is. But, like, did you see that video that was, like, going around the internet the other day of him, like, stretching? Like, he's not human. It's weird.
Right. He can kick the rim. He can kick the rim. No one else can kick the rim.
It's unbelievable. I thought that, having Durant guard him would be like the great equalizer, right? Because, like, here you have, like, our 7-footer that can score going up against your 7-footer that can score, right? And we'd have Durant defend you, and then for the most part, like, the Rockets, had done a good job of defending Wemby, but he had more than just he had 28 points last night, but it was his defense that was the difference.
Yeah, 16 boards and 5 blocks, and I think that undersells how effective he was.
It's unbelievable. The Rockets now tonight playing on the second of a back-to-back. They will be in Atlanta to take on the Hawks. The Hawks last night beating up on the Celtics, surprisingly. So load up a system play coming up for tomorrow on Friday for the Celtics, right? We love that. But the Hawks beat the Celtics 117-106, and now they will host the Rockets tonight. And up on FanDuel, it is Houston, who is a 3.5-point road favorite.
I like the Rockets. The Hawks took advantage of the Celtics' play style. They both want to get up and down, shoot up a lot of threes. I think the Rockets, even on the road, will be able to dictate pace. Both teams off of a back-to-back. And the Hawks really have been struggling outside of a few games. So I think that's more of an outlier. I think both teams return to form.
Elsewhere last night, Luka Doncic injured himself in the first quarter of the Lakers game in Cleveland because the Cavs have this stupid raised court that we've seen, a couple other places have it, like especially in college, but the court is elevated from the floor. So Luka took a three-pointer and then backpedaled and then fell off the court into the bench and, like, twisted his ankle, went to the locker room, but then he came back into the game. So thankfully, it wasn't that serious of an injury, but it didn't matter. The Cavs blew out the Lakers 129-99. LeBron scored just 11 points in what could be his final trip to Cleveland as a visiting player. And I say
Exactly.
I say that facetiously? No, I say that
Tongue in cheek.
yeah, because as a visiting player, because maybe LeBron's
No,
a member of the Cavs again before his career is all said and done, Mackenzie.
That was reported yesterday. The Cavs would be open to a reunion, and if you think about what they have, as far as great great defensive bigs with Jaren Allen, an explosive top 5 scorer in Donovan Mitchell, LeBron James might be that pace setter that could really help them this season or next. As far as the Lakers, LeBron James doesn't give them what they need, which is defense. 42 points in the third quarter, blew that game open. LeBron did get his bucket in the fourth quarter to get over 10. I knew he didn't want that to be a story, but he could have scored 30. It wouldn't have been the difference. They need more defense on that team.
Yep. Elsewhere last night, the Knicks, 119-92, come from behind win over the Raptors. They looked pathetic in the first quarter and then dominated the rest of the game. Jalen Brunson was questionable, dealing with an illness. I mean, listen, it's going around. I'm sick, he's sick, you're sick, everyone's sick. But he did wind up playing last night. Brunson finished with 13 points in 30 minutes. He was 5 of 13 shooting. OG Anunoby had the big night with 26 points. Mikal Bridges had 30 points. Josh Hart had 22. Only 8 points for Karl Anthony Towns in what maybe one of his final games for the New York Knicks, Mackenzie?
I wonder if Towns in the back of his mind or in his deep subconscious is thinking, I want to decrease my trade value right now. I don't want to live in Milwaukee this winter. I really don't. Mikal Bridges has had an excellent season, mostly from a defensive and all-around perspective, so he's going to be attractive in any trade package. Same with OG Anunoby. But Towns almost definitely, just to match money, will have to be part of a Giannis deal. Giannis hasn't said recently that he wants to play in New York, but remember this summer he said that was the one place he was interested in playing at. And from all reports, in 8 days or less, he will be on a different team. Maybe it'll be New York. Maybe it'll be for Towns and Bridges.
So, okay, here's the thing. That report by Shams yesterday was total bullshit, right? It was not, there wasn't news. It wasn't a report. Right, I've really had it with the way that we report news nowadays, like with social media and whatnot. That's not a story, okay? Oh, Giannis is ready to be traded. What does that mean? What does that mean? Oh, the Bucks are listening to offers. They've been listening to offers for months already.
Right. For months, yeah.
For months they've been listening. And what do you mean Giannis is ready to be traded? What is this? No, this is just a story to generate a reaction so that the league and other agents and whatever can see what happens with the reaction. That's what this was. That's all this was. This was an agent calling Shams and say, hey, do me a favor, put out an article, right? That's all this is, because This is not news. If you are the Milwaukee Bucks, don't trade Giannis right now. Here's what you do. You have a built-in tanking excuse for the rest of this season. You sit Giannis for the rest of the year, and you hide it under the guise of he's still hurt, right? He's out for a couple of weeks.
Elbow.
He's out for a couple of weeks, and then you know something? Hey, he had a setback in his rehab. We're just going to shut him down for the rest of the year, right? That's it. He's too hurt. There's no reason for him to come back. We're not in playoff contention. And you use that as your way of tanking. And then you get yourself a top 5 draft pick because you're going to be a terrible team. And
there's one problem with that. They don't have their draft pick.
They don't have their draft pick at all?
They don't have the draft pick any of the next few years. Portland has their draft pick, which some people have speculated is why Portland would have to be involved in any deal this season, whether it's a 3-team deal, much like the Rockets did when they got their picks back when they were terrible. You want to tank with your picks.
Okay. Well, they will have they'll have, and their second round pick is not even theirs anyway. It's Utah's, which is protected 31-55. Man, they're in a terrible draft spot.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say was if you can Well, I guess, let's see. Atlanta will receive the more favorable of Milwaukee's 2026 first round pick and New Orleans Pelicans' 2026 first round pick. Milwaukee will receive the less favorable of the two via New Orleans
Okay.
Pelicans, the right to swap for Milwaukee. Okay, so they do have a pick. They will have a
Right.
first round pick. It's just going to be um it's Milwaukee gets the less favorable of their pick or New Orleans's pick.
Yeah,
So
and New Orleans is going to, or looks like they're going to have the worst pick. So that is reason to tank. I stand corrected. No, that's a good point.
yes. So I think you tank, right? You get a top 5 pick, okay? And then what you
Top
do,
8 pick, maybe.
okay, lottery's fixed. We know that, right?
Yeah.
And then what you do is you trade Giannis in the offseason. So not only do you have an early pick of your own, but you stockpile picks also because in the offseason, teams have more picks to trade. Because there's, like, I was reading this about the Knicks. Like, the Knicks don't have first round picks to trade now, but they will in June when the season's over.
Yeah.
Because of the rules where it's like you can't trade picks or something, like when you in the certain time span. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, not verbatim, but I understand.
Yeah.
There's some limitations to that.
So that's the thing. There's teams will have more assets to trade in the summer than they will now at the deadline. So you can actually get a better package of picks in the offseason than you would right now. And listen, if picks is not what you care about and you care about players, then it's a different story. But if you want first round picks, then you wait until the offseason. So you tank this year. You don't you get a better pick of your own. You get more picks from wherever you want to trade Giannis to, and you tell Giannis, listen, just sit out the rest of the year. You're hurt, and we'll send you wherever you want to go in the offseason.
It makes sense. You get an extra playoff run if you're one of the teams like the Knicks or the Hawks have been speculated. The Spurs have been speculated, and they have a ton of assets. So it depends. Yes, you can kind of maneuver more. You can bring in third teams. You have more flexibility with what you offer in the summer. But a team might be very desperate right now. That's why they're taking offers. That's why they're leaking stories.
Yeah.
They want to get a Godfather offer. We'll see if they get it.
Well, here's how we profit from a betting perspective. The Bucks season wins up on FanDuel right now is 30.5. I want to go under, but I want to wait to bet it tomorrow because the Bucks play the Wizards tonight. Milwaukee is a 2.5-point favorite tonight against the Wizards. If the Bucks win tonight, do you think we're going to get 31.5 and then we can go under 31.5 tomorrow?
I kind of like the Wizards in that game, so it might be slightly off.
So if they lose, does it go to 29.5 or does it stay 30.5? If it stays 30.5, then that's great. We just go under 30.5. But if the Bucks win tonight, I don't want to bet 30.5 and have the Bucks win, and then all of a sudden the number tomorrow is 31.5.
It's a high variance kind of play because I feel like they're either going to win 20 games or they're going to get Giannis back and he's not going to be traded and they're going to win 37 games. So I don't mind betting it now. Maybe you split your bet half now, half after they lose to the Wizards. But I do agree with the general sentiment. I think Giannis is gone. I think even if Giannis is there, he's not going to be there, and I think we go under 30.
Yeah, current number right now up on FanDuel, under 30.5 is minus 105. The over is minus 115. That's why I think that if they win tonight against the Wizards, that number goes up to 31.5. And then maybe you can get the under 31.5 at minus 110 or minus 115 because the over right now is juiced, so see if they win tonight, and then you can go under on the Bucks regular season wins. All right, elsewhere for the schedule for tonight in the association, Mackenzie, you got the Kings at the Sixers, Philadelphia 12-point favorites. You got the Heat at the Bulls, Miami a 1-point favorite, Charlotte visits Dallas, and the Hornets 3.5-point favorites. Cooper Flag didn't play last night for Dallas. They lost to the Timberwolves. And Charlotte performed well. They picked up another win. They beat the Grizzlies. You've talked before about Charlotte with the young legs. Both teams are on the back-to-back. Would you give the edge to Charlotte here?
Yeah, I love Charlotte here. One of my favorite plays on the card. They've been excellent in January, and the Mavericks have a way of stepping up against like the elite teams. They covered against the Warriors and the Sixers and the Thunder. Against the Charlotte Hornets, I don't think they're ready for what they're doing over there.
Did you see that the meme that's going on the internet about it's a LaMelo Ball like celebrating with his teammate, and everyone's like, it looks like one of those commercials.
HIV commercials.
Yeah.
It does look exactly like that. Just so much mirth in the air.
It's
So much brotherly love.
They're so happy. They're so happy.
They're just living life.
Yeah. Do not take if you're allergic. Nuggets 7.5-point favorites over the Brooklyn Nets. Pistons 4-point favorites at the Phoenix Suns, and then the nightcap, Mackenzie, the Oklahoma City Thunder 6-point favorites at the Minnesota Timberwolves. What do you have in that game?
Love the Thunder. It was 5.5. Now it's 6. I feel like it's going to close 7. The Thunder haven't covered in 3 games, but this is a Western Conference Finals rematch. Both teams offensively have been struggling. You see the under dropping from 227.5 to 225.5. The Thunder are going to get their 100 points. I'm not sure the Wolves are going to get 90. I feel like this is going to be a very defensive affair, and I think the Thunder thrive in that situation, get their buckets off of transition. So I like them to roll here.
All right. On the ice tonight, the New York Rangers and Islanders will play the second of a home-and-home after the Islanders took care of the Rangers last night on Long Island. So I looked this up in the database, Mackenzie, and this would actually be a great spot to fade the Islanders. So this season, teams that are playing home-and-homes with no rest. So you play, and I know this is different because this is probably the least amount of travel that two opponents would have to make. I guess New Jersey, the Devils to the Rangers would be the shortest.
Nobody
travel.
plays in the same building in the NHL?
Two teams in the same building?
Yeah, I mean, it's very common in the NBA, or at least it was.
No. Well, because there's the LA Kings and there's the Anaheim Ducks, so they're in Anaheim. Sure. But I guess the Devils and the Rangers would be the closest because from Newark to go to from you literally take the train from Newark Penn Station to New York Penn Station, and it's just a very quick train ride. So that's. But then again, from Madison Square Garden, from Penn Station to take the train to go to Elmont to Belmont Park, it's a little bit further, Long Island Railroad. Anyway, it's not a big travel spot. But here's what I looked up. This season, home and home series. So you play at one location, and then the next night you're at the other team's location. 0 rest. The home teams in the second games are 5-0 this season. Going back to 2021, the home teams in the second game, 17-10 straight up. So
regardless if they won or lost?
Correct. Yep. Regardless if they won or lost. So this historically would be a spot to fade the Islanders, but the Rangers are an absolute mess. Last night before the game, the Rangers shut down one of their best players, maybe their best player, Artemi Panarin. And they shut him down to protect the asset. They call it roster management. They are sitting.
Isn't that tanking?
Well, this is what they're doing. The rosters freeze during the Olympic break, which is next week. So, according to reports, the Rangers are benching Panarin until the Olympic roster freeze, and then will facilitate a trade. I'm sure those trades are going to be negotiated during the Olympics, right? So he is going to be gone. He's probably played his last game as a New York Ranger, and all the players after the game speaking to the media were like, yeah, we kind of we found out right before the game that like our guy who's been our teammate for all these years is just not going to be playing with us anymore. Like what? Like, I mean, they knew that this team is just going to get broken up anyway. Like they're just terrible and they, cap problems. They're going to trade off their assets, but it's a tanking team that the vibes just aren't good. That's the thing. The vibes just aren't good. So I can't bet on the Rangers tonight. It's got to be the Islanders or pass. The vibes are just terrible right now for the New York Rangers. Elsewhere tonight, I kind of want to back the Colorado Avalanche. Now, I lost betting on the Avalanche yesterday. The Avalanche, they went to Ottawa, and they had 8 shots in the first 2 periods. 8 shots on goal. They finished the game with 18 shots on goal. Okay? They lost 5-2. The Colorado Avalanche averaged 35 shots on goal per game. They had
That's
eight.
twice as many.
They had 8 in the first two periods last night, Mackenzie. I don't know if they were sleepwalking their way through that game. I don't know if it was the fact that they took a couple of penalties early in the first period that they had to kill off, but like something was off last night. Were they saving their energy because tonight they're playing the second night of a back-to-back in Montreal and maybe they care about winning in Montreal more than they care about winning in Ottawa? I don't know. But we're going to see a much better effort from the Avalanche tonight. Although I am curious, like there's only a couple of games left before the Olympic break. Like I wonder like how many of these teams are or how many of these players might just be like, dare I say, playing out the strings?
I think for a winning team or the team that's like leading their division, they want to end on a good note. So awful loss with like you can see the finish line 1 week out, probably a good spot.
Do you think historically, like, and this is like unprecedented, we'd have to go back to like the last time NHL players went to the Olympics and kind of look at like some standings before the break. But do you think like you've noticed like with NBA teams like headed to the All-Star break and things like that, do you think you see like a dip in player production in those final games?
I think more for the bad teams.
More
I think
for the bad
favorites
teams.
are a great spot right before the. I mean, that's just something I've done historically. Favorites before the NBA All-Star break.
All right, here's what I want to look up. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this right here live on the spot. This is the beauty of recording a podcast. Okay. Last time NHL players were in the Olympics were 2014. That was in Sochi. Okay. So I'm gonna look at the 2014 season in the NHL. Okay. So we're gonna go to the 2014 season, and then should I do next rest? Does that make sense? The next rest is like greater than equal to like
7.
no, I'm gonna say 14, like a 2 week break.
I think we want to do 2013.
Okay, we took a little bit of break here, but like for a good reason, because we looked this up and it's awesome. Okay, so here's what we did. We went back to the 2013 season, right, Mackenzie? Because it
Yes,
had
2013-14.
Yes, because it had to be the February of 2014. The last day before the Olympic break was Saturday, February 8th. And so teams played their last games on Friday, February 7th or Saturday, February 8th. And the league didn't return until Tuesday, February 25th. So everyone had like at least 2 weeks off. Mackenzie, in the final game before the break, the favorites 12-3 straight up.
Not bad. Not bad at all. I was just curious, so I was playing with some other filters. -130 or greater favorites, 9-1. Last time we had the Olympics where our big break was coming up.
So we need to now look then, and it's going to be next week. The last day before the break is going to be Thursday, February 5th. So we have to look at games that are being played on Wednesday, February 4th and Thursday, February 5th, and we want to bet the favorites.
And I think heading into it, just generally, these teams are more locked in. They're not thinking about their vacation plans the way some of the worst teams like the Rangers might be.
Oh, I love what we just did there. That's awesome. Maybe I should just not edit out this stuff and just include like all of our conversations.
People like our banter. Yeah, people like some banter.
Like that stuff. Now, maybe we'll just save that for the live streams for our Better Day premium members. All right, Mackenzie, let's talk a little football here, including the first of our Super Bowl props.
If you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or personal loans, help is here. More and more Americans turn to credit cards to get by. National Debt Relief is helping qualified clients reduce what they owe. For many, continuing to struggle making minimum monthly payments could take years to pay off. National Debt Relief has already helped over 550,000 Americans reduce their debt by negotiating directly with their creditors. When you call, you'll be amazed at how much you can save and how quickly you can become debt-free. If you want off the debt treadmill, visit nationaldebtrelief.com today. You don't need to declare bankruptcy, and you may qualify for significant debt relief. To find out what savings you may qualify for, simply visit nationaldebtrelief.com. That's nationaldebtrelief.com.
Every Friday from 6 to 7:30, it's NBA Happy Hour on FanDuel, your pregame for the weekend. We're talking limited time specials you won't want to miss. Boosts, bonuses, surprises, all dropping in the app during happy hour. So before tip-off, check the FanDuel app to see the week's special. Then, make your move before the shot clock expires at 7:30 Eastern. It's the perfect way to start your weekend. A little basketball, a little action, and a whole lot of Friday energy. That's NBA Happy Hour, every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Only on FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Must be 21 and older and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino. Or 18 and older and present in D.C., Kentucky, and Wyoming. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccp.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.
A week from today, Mackenzie Rivers and I will be hopping on a plane and flying to San Francisco for the big game. It's okay. We can say the Super Bowl. Like, we're not going to get sued. It's all right.
Yeah, I don't think that copyright works for podcasts.
Yeah,
we're not
fine.
printing out cards or anything.
Yeah, we're good here. Mac and I will be headed to the Super Bowl next Thursday. Seahawks taking on the Patriots, of course, in Santa Clara, and we'll get you all the interviews and all the information there from Radio Row next week. But yesterday was a big day, Mackenzie, here in Vegas with the Super Bowl. Do you know why?
I don't know why. I mean, I was thinking Super Bowl props.
Yes.
I know Westgate releases a lot on Thursday.
No, the Westgate did it yesterday. Yes, they did it a day earlier. Okay. Yes.
Times are changing.
Yes, times are a-changing. So yesterday, the South Point here in Vegas released their Super Bowl props, and the Westgate released their Super Bowl props as well. So it's going to be fun. Obviously, the online books, the FanDuels of the world, have already released like a bunch of their props, and more of them are coming. But, excuse me, the Super Bowl props are out, so congratulations. The Westgate, the screen looked beautiful with about, a massive prop menu that was there. 53 pages of props from the Westgate. How crazy is that?
Shout out. Damn. Jay Cornegay. Damn, I can't believe that name escaped me. He's been in my life for 10 years. Him and his team do good work.
Yep, and also John Murray and Jeff Sherman, everyone, they do a great job over there, right? So I looked at, there's several props that we always love to play every single year when it comes to the Super Bowl. And we could talk about player props, we could talk about exotics. Next week, we will be releasing all of our prop plays, Mackenzie. Next week, big prop bonanza here on the show and up on BetterDay.com. Better Day Insider and Premium members will get exclusive props. Like, it's going to be incredible. One prop we will talk about, though, here. Our first prop for the Super Bowl. Shortest.
Free, right on this podcast.
Yeah. Shortest touchdown under 1.5 yards. You can get this varying amounts of juice, minus 130, minus 140, depending on where you look. Shortest touchdown under 1.5 yards. We tweeted this out yesterday, but this is a prop that has cashed in 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls, 8 of the last 10 years. Last year, it was Jalen Hurts who scored. The year before that, we did not have a 1-yard touchdown. The 3-yard touchdown catch by Mecole Hardman was the shortest touchdown of that Super Bowl. The year before that, Jalen Hurts and Isaiah Pacheco had 1-yard touchdowns. Jalen Hurts also had a 2-yard touchdown in that Super Bowl. The year prior, Cooper Kupp. Prior to that, Antonio Brown. The year prior, it was Patrick Mahomes, Raheem Mostert, and Travis Kelce. We had 3 1-yard touchdowns. The year prior to that, we had no 1-yard touchdown. That's because Sony Michel's touchdown run was from 2 yards out. We had a 2-yard touchdown.
That's an
over. Then the year before that, Nick Foles with the Philly special. Prior to that, James White had a 1-yard touchdown run. He also had a 2-yard touchdown run in overtime. And then the year prior, Jonathan Stewart had a 1-yard touchdown. So 8 of the last 10 Super Bowls have featured at least one touchdown of under 1.5 yards, 5 of the last 6 years. And in the 2 years in the last decade that have missed, it was because of a 2-yard touchdown and a 3-yard touchdown. So you can't get any closer than that. So our first prop bet for the Super Bowl, Mackenzie Rivers, shortest touchdown under 1.5 yards.
I like that. The bright lights, the big game, a lot of desperation means maybe a penalty, maybe a defensive pass interference. Someone's getting desperate in the end zone, or just, a few very meticulous plays when it's goal to go to make it 2nd, 3rd, and 1, 4th and 1, and then we get the cash.
We absolutely love it. So very happy about that. Happy to give that out to you guys. And like I said, we'll have our prop bonanza coming up next week, and we'll give out some more stuff as we finish out the week here and head into Super Bowl week. We finally got a coaching filling yesterday as the Browns hiring former Ravens offensive coordinator Todd Monken as their new head coach. What did you make of this hire?
Excellent, excellent news for football fans everywhere, because free Jim Schwartz. He's too good to be a DC in Cleveland. Bring him over to San Francisco. I couldn't be happier about the Todd Monken hire.
Well, is that where you think Jim Schwartz goes? Or does Jim Schwartz stay there?
He obviously could. He's been excellent there. Myles Garrett won Defensive Player of the Year a couple times with him. But is Todd Monken, an offensive coordinator, more qualified than Jim Schwartz? I feel like, they hired in Buffalo Joe Brady to be the head coach, probably because they didn't want him to leave the building. He had interviews elsewhere. The fact that they didn't give it to Jim Schwartz, even though they're one of the last teams to pick it up, I think he's gone. I think he goes to San Francisco.
Wow.
Wins the Super Bowl next year.
Wow.
You heard it here first.
Yes, we did. The Jets picked up former Dolphins assistant Brian Duker as their new defensive coordinator. However, Aaron Glenn is going to call the defensive plays. So that is a shift from last year, where
first play of the first game of the season,
interception,
called get an interception.
Yeah, exactly. Where Steve Wilkes called the plays last year for the New York Jets. Aaron Glenn will call the defensive plays next year. So Duker has no play calling experience, but he did work with Aaron Glenn in Detroit under Dan Campbell. So they have something there. The Jets still
Any
don't
preference for the Jets OC?
Nope. The Jets. Listen, I applied on LinkedIn, but nope. They have
mail.
They have not hired an offensive coordinator yet. It's just such a joke. The team is so pathetic.
Hey, maybe they got back to you. Maybe they haven't hired one because you're not checking your LinkedIn in mail.
Oh my God, I gotta check. I gotta check it and see.
When can you be here?
They probably heard all the times I've bitched on this podcast about different play calling decisions and taking the points versus going for it and whatnot. And they were like, "This guy knows what he's talking about. Maybe we can give him a shot."
Wait, so there's 5 seconds left in halftime. We're at the 30-yard line. Maybe we should do something and not just let the clock run out?
Yeah, good idea. Good idea. Or maybe we should take the points and not go, or maybe don't challenge and waste the time out. A lot of things. All right, that'll wrap up this episode. Like I said, we have plenty more to come for the Super Bowl. Next week is going to be a big week for us. We're going to do a lot of props conversations, all the novelty props, the Gatorade color, things like that. We'll have a lot of fun with that. And Mackenzie and I are headed to San Francisco next Thursday, so that's going to be a fun podcast. We'll do a couple of pods from there, a couple of interviews. You never know who's going to stop by. You never know where we are going to show up as well. And hopefully, we are working on something really, really cool and innovative that we are hoping to launch next week up on betterday.com. It's taken a lot of man hours, but it's going to be worth it. If it comes to fruition, it's going to be really worth it. And we think you guys
Isn't that exciting that if it comes to fruition, because we've had a lot of different tools that I think are best in class as far as this industry is concerned. I haven't seen what we're building done yet.
I know.
So that's very exciting.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it. Like I said, we're just getting started here up on betterday.com, and we're thrilled that you are aboard with us. I sent a message into our Better Day community chat yesterday to our members that are in there. And if you are a member that's not in the community chat, I highly recommend joining it so you can interact with your fellow members as well. But I just wanted to reiterate that we're more than just giving out picks, right? the goal of the website, betterday.com, is to empower you guys to get all the tools and edges that you need to make bets as well. So whether it's the Trench Report in the NFL or the NBA database or the NBA Game Center, the NHL Game Center, the NHL database, this new tech project that we're working on, the newsletter stuff that we talk about, the pod every single day. Like, the goal is to give you guys all the tools to become better bettors, right? And so, yeah, like, we love giving out picks. We're never going to stop giving out picks, but we don't want you guys to join up and become members and only just rely on the picks that we give out. Like, use all the tools that are at your disposal. Like, and we are here for you too. If you have any questions, we read all the emails. Send us an email. Participate in the community chat. Ask us questions. I loved it yesterday, Mackenzie, when one of our members asked a question about a trend. And it took me 2 minutes to look it up in the database and get back to them. And I think that's what it's all about. We're building a community here. We're building a community, we're sharing intel, and we're trying to profit all together and gain an edge together. So please take advantage of all the resources that you have available at betterday.com. No comment, Mackenzie? I thought I said that really well.
Exactly. I didn't want to, like the punch that Ali never threw Foreman. That was landed, and I didn't want to interrupt such an eloquently made point. But yeah, we have, I think, the best community. Come join us, come talk to us, and get an edge, and have some laughs and have some fun on Telegram.
Dynamite drop in, Monty. That broadcasting school is really paying off. For Mackenzie Rivers, I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's hoping you make today and every day a better day.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.